Testing? Oh,
Hello.
hey, I didn't see you
Yeah.
there. Welcome back to AGN Season 2. We're on map 2 of the game, Oblation versus Wichita, and on the first map we had a bit of a dominant performance by Oblation, them beating the Wichita 7-3. Wichita taking the first 2 rounds, but Oblation really coming back there and showing their dominance. Now, as we're moving on to Consulate, what do you think is going to be happening here, John?
Consulate. So, just to preface this, Caesar, Ablation's IGL and I believe captain was actually out for Villa. Now he's back. So, I think this is going to be an even more dominant performance. As Oblation just blew them out of the water blew the Wolves, as you said, out on the water on Villa.
Well, personally, I think
Um,
the Wolves had their claws in the flesh of Oblation, alright, but struggled to finish off the Gazelle. And I think with a little bit more time, seeing as we're moving on to the second map, I think they might be able to pull through. Because personally, I am still rooting for Wichita Wolves, because Wolves, in fact, are, as we very much should know, scary. Okay? Don't approach Wolves. They're scary.
um, yeah. What map we go to? How about that? Map is going to be Clubhouse. With who's here? Who is it here starting on attack? Sorry. It is Oblation starting on attack again. Yes, Oblation starting on attack. So, another historically defender-sided map. Not a term I like to use that much, but if Oblation can do what they did last game, I think this is going to be a 7-2.
Especially, I think, if Ablation can pull through. In fact, whichever team can pull through and pull off a successful kitchen dirt take, I think that team is more likely to be the successful team, seeing as that is the only valid take on Clubhouse, no matter which site they may be. So
Slaughterhouse take?
some would refer to that. I would refer to it as the greatest take of all time, because
Yeah,
it was
I would
created
not.
by yours truly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest take of all time.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say it's up there on some list. What list that is, we're gonna leave that unnamed. But I think this is gonna be a very roam heavy setup from the Wolves to start out, and if that doesn't work, which I really doubt it will, looking at the coordination of Ablation, I think they're just going to try to anchor down on site and do the best they can. But let's throw it over to our casters. We got Crow, we got Keg. Any last words, B, before we do that?
I'm just awfully excited to see the Wolves dominate this upcoming match.
Awesome.
All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Game 2 with Wichita Wolves versus Oblation. Last game, we actually had a very interesting start where Wichita Wolves were 2-0 against Oblation. But Crow, I don't know what happened. I guess they took their brain medicine because Oblation then did not lose a single game until round 9. That would be a 6 or 7 round streak until Wichita Wolves won one more round, and then Oblation just ended the game from there.
Yeah, because the first couple rounds, I guess Oblation were just maybe a little bit caught off guard by what Wichita Wolves was doing, but then Wichita Wolves just kept kind of doing the same thing over and over again, and the Oblation were very wise to that and just kind of ran over them. But it's gonna be Thatcher and Hibana off the board for our first two bans. Thatcher pretty much always banned on Clubhouse. Hibana, if you're gonna ban a hard breacher, it's either gonna be Maverick or Hibana, usually. So you're gonna take off that ranged hard breacher. So leaving the Maverick on the board is effectively gonna nullify the Kaid pick on basement. At least you can still use him on the walls, but it's gonna delay the attackers a lot more. You're gonna have to either Maverick trick or try and get the batteries off with his torch, which can take quite a while if you're not efficient with it. Mira going to be off the board for the defense. And last time we saw a Valkyrie ban. This time, though, it's going to be the standard Mira Echo.
Yeah, I would say these are the most bread and butter bands of all time. And I'm curious to see, you mentioned before about the Maverick on the hatch going in the kitchen. I honestly think even the cache wall is going to be nullified too, because they can bring Bandit and Kaid, but that, with that, with the wall with Maverick, that can be easily nullified as well. And so, interesting to note is that last game we did have, I believe it was Guy and a Bear, or one of the others, replacing Razor, whereas Razor this
It
time,
was Wolfsies.
Wolfsies, thank you, was on the team, but now we have Razor's their IGL, who was formerly on Team Reckless for Challenger League.
Yeah, and Wolfsies though, despite being a sub, still went 10-7. So he certainly still had a hell of a performance. And I mean, if there's one guy we gotta highlight, it's Inrio. Inrio went 16-5 in 10 rounds. He was absolutely nuts that match, coming from every which way. Like, the flanks he was pulling off were incredible, and it was incredibly, unfortunate for Wichita Wolves not covering those positions, despite having a gridlock, which was, super strange. But it's gonna be a church defense first for Wichita Wolves. Standard, again, very trash, though, gonna pick up the Kaid the Hibana ban. I mean, that's gonna force out the Maverick. You got Inrio on that. He's just gonna Maverick open the hatches. Okay, he's gonna be putting it on the kitchen hatch. So what you do when you put it on the kitchen hatch is you're not gonna Maverick trick kitchen hatch. That is a death sentence. You're gonna try and thermite it, but if you try and put it on the soft floor next to it, you can just shoot it out. But I mean, there's an angle you can get with a grenade to just flush off the electric claw. So I mean, it's not that useful for. I mean, I guess it wastes some utility, but still, an aggressive push by Guy and a Bear already on main stairs, gonna make a bullet hole angle over the top of that shield. That's dirty from him. He could easily find a pick, maybe onto the Goyo if he peeks his head out, but his position is still largely unknown as Inrio is going to work on this Moto hatch, and the Oblation, if they can start to ramp things up and carry their momentum from the last map, I think I agree with John. We could see an even more dominant map from the one club.
Now, keep in mind from last game, Inrio did go, I believe, 14-6 in total in terms of frags of that game. I'm expecting to see a lot of crazy plays from him again. We are seeing Guy on a Bear play extremely fast this time around, like you mentioned. Last game, we didn't see him really perform that well at all. He did get the first frag, be the first one killed, I would say at least 5 rounds in a row. But it looks like right now him and Inrio really pushing towards Moto, hopefully trying to get some early picks.
Yeah, Flash is coming out to try and get that Kaid off the wall so that the Maverick can get to work on it. A drone just going to stare at the Mute and the Kaid as well. Both of them just going to get spotted out, but Guy and a Bear trying to shoot the C4 will actually end up team killing Inrio. And it looks like this guy just can't get a break. That is super unfortunate. You're losing your Maverick. I mean, he's opened a hatch. So, I mean, he's done some of his job, but he's not going to be able to open up any of that church wall. But Razor, he's going to get aggressive, and he's going to pick off Mayo. Guy and a Bear trying to move through Moto, get a pick on the, I believe it's the Mute. Yeah, playing behind the bomb chassis. But he can't find anything just yet. But Vivid, he's going to kill Faded on the Maestro. That's a big player to get off the board. No more control over the Evil Eyes. No more Alda, but Guy and a Bear, his push is going to get shut down. The C4 to confirm. Back to even man count, and these two teams seemingly can't shake each other through this first round. But as I say that, Trash is going to be put down on the floor. Wolfie, he's very lit up. It's largely going to be up to Devil, the only member of this team still on full HP against these aggressing attackers. Devil will get the pick on Vivid, though. He's lit up in the process, but swinging Moto, not going to find the Zofia. Back to an even 2 versus 2. Bow and Arrow, he's going to have to get revived, and I don't know, it's going to be a game of paintball. Everyone is essentially one shot from death.
That's right. We're going to have to keep an eye on Razors this time. His first game that we're seeing him perform against Wichita Wolves. Not really. Oh, never mind. Down for the count. It's going to be a 2v1. It's looking good for the double W's. And there we go. They won round 1. Now, keep in mind, they did win the first 2 rounds the last game. It might take a little bit for Oblation to get that momentum back up, figure out how they operate and adapt around it. We did see that happen before, but overall, Guy on a Bear, he is cursed, I swear, because he has not caught a break in several games. him killing Inrio, the top fragger from last game. We didn't see Inrio perform at all whatsoever. Razors did do an excellent job holding on to Moto and letting players such as like Faded bait into him, but unfortunately that 1v3 situation was not enough. And hopefully in the game round 2 we will see a little bit more of an even gameplay.
Yeah, it was definitely well held onto by Devil, preventing the attackers from pushing aggressive into Moto to capitalize on the downed trash and very lit up Mute, who I believe was Wolfie, I think. So a good holdout, but like you said, this is what happened last map, and it was Wichita Wolves to find the next round as well before Oblation strung together 6 in a row, basically guaranteed themselves a point. So something else that I think we need to talk about real quick is how the scoring works in this league. If you're used to Pro League, if you're used to, any of that stuff, throw all that out the window, because Wazda and Ant have come up with a very unique system, I guess. So the way it works is if you win the map without the game going into OT, that's not a thing anymore, because that's what Wazda told me. That's not a thing anymore. God damn it. I guess Wazda's just really, really dumb. Cool. There's still OT though, right?
And we have Inrio coming into Garage right in the beginning. He is not wasting any time at all, but no, it looks like he's trying to bait out the blowtorch noise. They're rotating around to the front of Garage. This is an interesting take you don't normally see. Usually most teams go for a cash wall, but no, it looks like they might be... Oh, they're going for cash wall. They're playing it normal again. It looks like they were kind of briefly scouting out what Garage looked like. We did have one holding Garage. Not entirely sure who that was. But it looks like right now we do have Guyana Bear spotting out A21 Mayo, but Guyana Bear taking down Faded instead. Mayo might have been baited out, but Inrio can't catch a break on Clubhouse, down by Trash. And Guyana Bear down next. These two cannot catch a break. I think they might be cursed because they've died twice in the very beginning. We're not even a minute into the game, and they've already lost their biggest hard breacher. They have no way of countering the cash wall. They need to figure out a new strategy right now.
Well, speaking of that, though, you've got Razor down below. He's the perfect player to try and clear that wall. You can go downstairs by Lounge, which he has control of, and impact from below to find that utility. I mean, though, Castle and Jaeger for Maverick and Jackal, obviously that's Wichita Wolves full, in a way, holding the advantage so far. And Oblation seems like they have yet to answer. Razor is going to stun out by Rhett to make sure no one can push him while he's got his impacts out, impacting from below, trying to see if he could take out the Electro Claw or maybe spot it. But it looks like that was enough, as the Thermite Charge has gone down on the wall, I believe.
Yep, and the wall.
No, it has.
Yep, the wall is open. They've managed to make their way in. That was a really smart play by Razors to take out the Kaid Claw. I honestly thought that it wouldn't be possible for them to take it down, maybe placing it up above on the top of the wall. But it looks like it was placed, I believe, lower. It's a 3v3 situation right now. We do have Devil and Wolfie just kind of holding onto the wall, making sure they don't flash in. But Oblation only has a little bit of time to push it. They have 45 seconds on the clock, and all their angles are absolutely covered. But no, Wolfie taking down Razors. That's a huge fragging pick. That's going to be really rough for the last two to push pretty much their only angle. Razors did have below, but now they only have a singular direction to go forward. And with 30 seconds left, they have no time to rotate. That is Vivid making their way, getting towards... Wow, okay. Bow and Arrow taking down Devel. Things have turned down very quickly. It's a 1v1. Vivid, the last one alive, and Oblation taking down Wolfie. How did that happen, Crow?
I don't know. It looked like they had the breach locked down. I mean, they knew exactly where those last two attackers were coming from, and those two players, I guess they just whiffed their shots. And Oblation stepped up when they needed to. I don't know how they won that round, but they did. And they're not gonna let Wichita Wolves go up 2-0 like they did in the last map. They're gonna answer back immediately.
Not quick enough for the shots, and I love the rotation Vivid did to take down Faded, then Wolfie, because it just it was beautiful, and that was a 1v3 shutdown so quick. Razors, on the other hand, I'm not really sure where he was when he was killed, but he had the perfect opportunity to get an upwards flank from above sight after the plant. But I guess there was a downward, maybe pixel peak angle. Not 100% sure, but that would have been a perfect opportunity for them to win, but they still made it through regardless.
Yeah, unfortunately, my clean feed is kind of acting up a little bit. And if you can accept my request to connect back, we'll see if it, hopefully it fixes itself. But
All right, let's do it. Solo cast time. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a 1-to-1 right now. We have 6 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be cash and servers once again. I thought their first hold on it was really good. The Electro Claw not really getting a good angle on it. I think it's down below again. That's a prime opportunity for Razors to immediately just go into stockroom and take it down with her concussion grenades. But it looks like this time Trash is prepared. Is prepared for this and waiting for the pixel peak from down below. Now, Inreal and Guy on a Bear, I want to keep focusing on them because we haven't really had a chance to see them truly blossom and play this game because they die so quickly. But Inreal should be the golden target to take down whatever's in the way, all the reinforcements, especially on Cash Wall. And Guy on a Bear this time prepared for stockroom. We can see with his skull key, probably going to be a really quick Kaid Electro Claw down, but not quite. It looks like they're taking their time a little bit, maybe seeing if they can get a nice introductory kill. So far, it's a bit of a stalemate, 1 minute in.
Guy on a Bear holding that lounge control in stock. It looks like he knows there's a player on the cusp of the garage as the Zofia has now come to join him. Again, trying to, I guess, clear from below to try and get the Electro Claw, but
Ooh,
I guess they don't know. Devil using that angle from rafters through the wall into stock. He'll finish off Razor, and that's your Zofia going down early. That is not the pick you want to lose, but Bow and Arrow with a fantastic reaction, taking out the player on rafters, but unfortunately not quick enough to catch Faded as Trash will also finish Inrio. So your Maverick dead, Nades off the board, Razor off the board. It's a 2 versus 4, and this time you don't even have the breach open. Things not looking good for Oblation. You're definitely going to have to make some kind of adjustment as, I mean, the defenders, they had control of Lounge. I think they've fallen off, so you've given that to Guy and a Bear to work with, but, I mean, you've taken enough off the board from Oblation that I don't know if that's going to matter.
Pushing from east side is just not going to work for these two this time. If they have to try anything, they need to go from Jacuzzi, and right away we see Trash getting lit up on Vivid. It's not a good look, but it looks like, wow, what a retrade. Guy on a Bear practically taking down Trash, but he ducks just in time. It's a 4v2 situation. They need to push from Jacuzzi, but they keep going for Garage. And I don't know. I think Vivid's playing this very radical, very wild, probably not the best situation to be in. And everyone is getting flashed all around, and wow, Mayo and Faded taking out Guy and a Bear and Vivid very last second. Round 3 goes to Wichita Wolves. This might be a lot closer than we thought.
Yeah, and that, they did a very, very similar hold to what they did in the first round, but the adaptation we saw from Oblation on Villa, not really rearing its head here on Clubhouse, but Cash going the way of the defense, which is, you know, that's kind of typically what you expect anyway. So it's not a huge deal that they lost that. I mean, they're still 2-1. They really effectively only need to win one more round to get the, you know, the average 4-2 split that we usually see as they go down to Church again. And the last time they went Church, it was a main moto push from the attack that went a little bit awry. It was Inrio getting TK'd by a Guy on a Bear pretty much immediately. He was, Inrio was mavericking the wall and a C4 came up top. Guy on a Bear tried to shoot it out and unfortunately caught his teammate's head in the process. From there, things just kind of spiraled downwards. The Goyo was holding off the moto door pretty beautifully with the TCSG, and that was kind of all she wrote. So I'm really excited to see what happens in this round if, you know, if Inrio doesn't get TK'd.
Yeah, I have a feeling they might go for the same exact strat again. Inrio might face another C4 kill coming out from, I believe that would be Trash. But I'm really hoping maybe we'll see a push from Blue or even Tunnel. There's a lot of options for the Church site for the attackers. And with that Maverick pick, the options are practically limitless. We see Guy and a Bear, Bow and Arrow, and Razors all wielding soft breach operators, so I'm really hoping we can see some opportunities for creativity when it comes to blowing stuff up. There's a lot of options, and it looks like right off the bat we're seeing a push from Garage. It looks like we're going to be going blue. Yeah, it looks like we'll be going blue. I'm not really sure. It looks like they're just roam clearing right now. Guy on a Bear. Probably going to clear out Kitchen or go straight for the central stairs.
Yeah, he's probably doing
the same
He's
exact
probably doing
thing
exactly
again.
what he did.
Yep. That's what I was afraid of what was going to happen. Yep, Unreal in the same exact situation, opening up Moto Hatch. And expect the C4 to come out. Yep, there it is, primed and ready.
Question is it going to get a kill? Now, if he does it early, though, I mean, it downs him. Not finishing him off, though, so, I mean, I guess a bit of luck there for Guy and a Bear not getting finished off as Razors come to his aid, try and pick him up. He's stunned to try and cover, I guess, to make sure no one could aggress on him while he was getting the revive.
Came out and got him. That is tilting for sure. That is a huge mental tilt for Guy on a Bear. After all that effort, Razor came through to rescue him, to save him from the DBNO state. Even then, it was just not enough. Unreal, though, this time, not getting team killed, that's an improvement. But Razors and Unreal need to step up their game and bring this home. Vivid did have a very good rotation for the last two rounds. So we might be seeing some more crafty thermite work again. It's not, the hatches can still be opened up. But it looks like they're going for the soft breach route to hopefully get some above ground kills.
Yeah, just looking for a freebie to try and, push things back into an even man count, or maybe get their, entry into sight that they so desperately need to make anything happen. As Wichita Wolves, last time they played this site, despite it being, even man count and trades going back and forth, they held their angles pretty passively and pretty beautifully. There was not a lot that Oblation could do without getting picked off immediately after finding the entry, as Utility is going to get thrown out through the Moto door to try and clear anything that might be stopping them, as well as, I mean, there's player in Kitchen, like you said, trying to find a free pick through the floor, but he can't open the hatch. So if anything goes down in Arsenal, if that's where the main push has to come, he's really going to be pretty disconnected from the action, not really in any position to try and support his team. But Inra will find one on the Devil as the Maestro falls as well. Mayo will eventually be able to trade back on the Inrail. That aggressive Maverick will no longer be on the board. 3v3 man count evened up with 25 seconds left. Things looking a little better for Oblation, maybe. They've separated Wichita Wolves out. They're not as stacked in Moto as they were that initial round, but Oblation are heavily stacked up, as it looks like they're going to try and just make their way through the Kool-Aid wall, but it's Wolf, another TK, and Mayo to shut things down. Man, another TK.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening with Oblation right now. They're having a very hard time adjusting to the defensive side of Wolves. They really neglect the blue side of the push. They did go for Moto and the backside towards Moto again, and it can work very well in theory, but after that C4 kill on a Guy on a Bear, they really should have rotated either through Kitchen Hatch, blue, or even Dirt Tunnel would have been a better option. But it's interesting that, even with less than a minute left, only one person in that between the two teams had gone down at that point, and it just became an absolute massacre. But we did see Enrio put in a lot of effort. He did get the double kill, but it wasn't enough, especially with that TK at the very end.
Yeah, they stacked up, and I guess they just kind of got in each other's way, which is unfortunate. They're now down 3-1. But they, Wichita Wolves now have to defend Jim. So, I mean, if Oblation is going to take one back, it's likely going to be on this site. Typically going to be the weaker one. Interesting, though, is Wichita Wolves aren't bringing the castle, which we see a lot of times because teams like to extend horizontally. They like to go into cache and lock things off there, and castle's really, really good for that style of hold. So it's interesting that they're not going to take that, instead playing with the kite. And I'm sure Trash is going to be playing inside there with his Electro Claws. It's usually a Hibana to flush him out, but of course Hibana is banned, so I'm not sure how much the Electro Claws are going to do against someone like a Maverick, who's just going to try and take out that position. Or, Arrow has nades, which you could send over the wall to clear those. But, I mean, Oblation have not been playing as efficiently and as together as we saw from Villa, and it's a little bit worrying.
Yeah, luckily though, Inrio does have options this round. He could either go through Jacuzzi Wall and possibly take down that Electro Claw if they want to play very fast. They did already break open logistics with Guy on a Bear, but they could also go Cash Wall, which it looks like, no, they'll be going for Jacuzzi. And it looks like they did reinforce and Electro Claw, Jacuzzi, I'm sorry, Cash Wall as well. So that will put a bit of a hinder in their plans, but Faded already taking down Guy on a Bear again. The first one to die, I would say 10 rounds in a row now. That is unfortunate. But losing the Buck, not the worst in the world. There's not a lot of soft breach opportunities for this site. Logistics Wall that we're seeing right now is a big spot, but it's already open, and they did get Logistics Hatch open. But Faded holding a great angle on the Logistics Hatch. Not a whole lot of action going on right now. It's mostly trying to find out the golden spot to enter onto the site, and it seems like Oblation is struggling right now. Inreal being lit up a little bit. And Vivid coming in for the refrag. Oh, but it looks like they do have Jacuzzi Wall open. This could be a great C4 opportunity. And there we go.
Oh.
That is Wolfie taking down Enrio. I'm not even sure where that came from. That had to have been a Jim through the wall. That was one of the luckiest headshots I've seen.
That was very well. I think he had a sliver of the barricade open so that he could find that shot. So great job there by Wolfie. Unfortunately, not refragged by Razor. So a 5v3 mankind advantage for Wichita Wolves. And
taking down Inrio, yikes, a 5v2. The defensive hold. I know John said earlier that traditionally Clubhouse is one of the best defense maps in the game, and it's proven right again and again. But there we go. That's going to be 21 taking down Razor. It's all down to Vivid right now, stuck at Jacuzzi Wall. They know exactly where he's at. He's lit up. He's damaged. Faded's slowly making the approach, but he's going to try flashing it out. Will that put Faded at bay? Yes and no. Faded rotated. And Inreal wants to go into a gunfight, but he just does not have the opportunity. Everything's being collided on Vivid right now. Everyone's looking for that angle. 30 seconds left on the clock. There's no way for him to rotate. It's all over from here. And there we go. That's going to be Wolfie taking down Vivid. A flawless round from Wichita Wolves.
yeah, and it's kind of, and like Inrio said, you know, he just wants to be put in a gunfight. But so far, every time that stuff has happened, he's getting TK'd, or Wichita Wolves are holding a really, really nice crossfire. And I think the most important thing here to see from Villa moving on to Clubhouse is Wichita Wolves are not giving, they're not giving Oblation the 1v1 gunfights.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure what kind of brain medicine Wichita Wolves took in between rounds, but honestly, this is actually a worse score spread than we saw on the Villa map prior, where at least by round 6, we did see Wichita Wolves have at least 2 rounds won off Abolition. And so far, it's a 4-1 spread. And going into the half after this, it's not going to be looking good if they can't win this round.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, they're 5-1 at the half is going to be very, very, very rough, as, you know, 5-1 at the half, it's a difference of 4 rounds instead of 2 if it were 4-2. That's how math works. That's gonna suck for Oblation moving into the second half, which again, they've just not been able to take their ones. And you know, when I first saw this team, I believe they're all like, except for Razor at least, the core of this team are like Xbox crossovers. And they were absolutely on fire. They reminded me of like when Luminosity first joined Pro League, like as 92 Dream Team, and it was like super aggressive, efficient takes. They were in the building in like 30 seconds, clearing everything like they needed to, and they won their ones. But Wichita Wolves aren't giving them that opportunity like they were on Villa. On Villa, we saw a lot of straight-up gunfights, and Oblation were like, yes, that is what we want. We ride high off our guns. We have players like Inrio. We have players like Bow and Arrow. We have players like, well, last map, we had Wolfsies. Now we have Razor, who excel in these 1v1 gunfights, and Wichita aren't giving it to them. They're either holding off angles, they're holding crossfires, they're killing them through walls or whatever. They're not giving Oblation the fair gunfights that they want, and it's really costing them.
You got to keep in mind, Villa is a huge roam-heavy map as well. You don't need to roam as much on Clubhouse, and I think that's where Wichita Wolves really excels. Is that we didn't see any we didn't see any plays for roaming on defense, and we didn't see any plays on attack that divvied away from the core group of people. Whereas, you know, Inrio went for crazy flanks on the last map, And right now they're trying to stick together, and it's not working out too well because Wolves are just holding crazy angles that's hard to not immediately peek around. But it looks like we do have Wolfie right now kind of holding construction, having a little bit of action going on over there. We're having Razors trying to push up by himself. He's thinking maybe this is the bread and butter. This is what I need to do. I can't play with the team. And completely missing Wolfie. Completely missing, I believe, Faded as well. And Wolfie sticking his head up, but that ended up killing him. Wolfie taking down Razors. Yikes. At least Razor has a good heart about it. That was a very quick peek, but Guy on a Bear finally getting a kill onto A21 Mayo. It's a good refrag, but it might not be enough. They are holding angles so well, especially Devel, top of Garage Raptors. Ooh, never mind, Caster's Curse. But holding the angles as well as humanly possible, flicking away on the sledge, bow and arrow barely making it away. Guy on a Bear and bow and arrow are unbelievable.
Seconds left.
Spread.
Oh, Ant's back.
Hello and welcome
Hi,
back.
Ant, what the hell just happened? Nice. So Ant's Discord crashed, so you couldn't hear us like at all for that round. But yeah, okay. But they won a round. Yay! Oblation finally took one back. And it's 4-2 half, which is still, you know, they're still in a pretty winnable position. They're still looking good. That's typically what you see off your attack, so it's not a big deal. But now Oblation, the pressure's on to run the score on the attack like that, like Wichita Wolves were doing. But a very, very different style of play, it appears, is what we're going to see from Wichita Wolves. Is they've now brought trash on the Monty.
I like this. I think they're going to go dirt. They're not going to make the same mistakes that Abolition made where they kept going for church wall over and over and over again because they were countered easily by the C4. So I think we're going to expect a lot of dirt play going on here. And in fact, we can even see bow and arrow setting up the evil eyes onto dirt wall. And they're expecting a lot of plays there. They're even opening up and expanding themselves into blue, hoping to win as many gunfights as they can. And no, they're going for Garage to play on the Arsenal. So I think this could go either way right now. I have a lot of faith in both teams holding angles and picking as much as they can. This is a very important round for Abolition because they need a lot of gunfight wins. They can hold these angles. They don't have to be as aggressive, which I think was their main downfall. But this time around, we've seen a so-so attack in the past for Wichita, but they've been taking their brain medicine, so it could reverse around as well. Overall, I'm just curious to see what happens.
Yeah, right. When you're on the defense, it's a lot easier to corner off the attackers and take those advantageous fights, which Oblation are likely now going to try and turn on Wichita Wolves. They're probably going to be just taking their ones like they were on Villa. It was Inrio who was really the star of the defense last time. He got multiple 3Ks, multiple flanks, just coming every which way. He's not on the Kaid, so a significantly less aggressive operator than the Jaeger he was playing is going to be picked up by Razor, so we'll see if Razor's able to do the same work. I believe he's holding Generator as Devil is going to be the one to push down Dirt. Moto Hatch will fall to the Thermite. Devil, though, there's a lot you can do from dirt if you time it correctly, but through the floor, the Buck is going to find stock, as is Mayo. Guy and a Bear and Razor both go down. The aggressive players, or the aggressive operators on the defense, the Jaeger and the Valkyrie, no longer on the board. It's up to the last 3 anchors, the Kite, the Smoke, and the Meister, to try and hold things out for this last minute and a quarter. A nade sailing out from Devil, not going to find anything, as at least the Meister's aware of the position, but there's a Monty on his backside. Trash will pick him up with the pistol and go for the turtle plant. Vivid at least trades back on Faven, making this a 2v4, but with only 2 seconds left on the plant, this will quickly become a post plant. So you've got the diffuser down, you've got Mankind advantage by 2, and a Monty still left alive. This round is pretty much over, as the smoke will fall. It's a 1v4 for Inrio, and looks to be a 5-2 for Wichita Wolves.
And Rio still has time. He could make some magic happen, but with a roaming Kite, I wouldn't expect a whole lot, especially going in the kitchen. We do have Wolfie holding that angle, and the C4 plant's going to take him down, but they know exactly where he's at. There's no way he wasn't called out. He's going to rotate back down to central stairs. He's going to look for the play, but no. Wow, a headshot onto Devel. Beautiful work. He's spraying around as much as he can, but there's 5 seconds left. It's too late. 5-2 Oblation.
Well, he brought it back
I'm
down
sorry,
to
Wichita Wolves.
I was about to say he brought it back down to a 1v1, but it was actually Trash TKing.
They knew they were going to win. There was no time to defuse.
That was
unfortunate.
I mean, it was a valiant attempt. Again, 1v4 down to 1v2, but it wasn't enough. And again, that Monty, man. That Monty worked so well, just pushing down blue. As soon as Generator was clear, there was nothing that Oblation could do to stop that Monty. Monty just walked in. The Meister was distracted by the guy in dirt, so the Monty was free to drop his shield, and then the plant came down. And from then on, like, when you have Mankind advantage and a Monty left alive in the post plant, it's nearly impossible to lose. And they're going to do it again on the same site. At least, I mean, you've got Razor on Vigil and Inrio on Jaeger now dropping the Kite, as Kite didn't really do much. The Thermite still was able to open Moto Hatch, so I'm not really sure why he was brought. But if you can't stop this Monty, you can't stop Wichita Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, like you said before, Kite didn't really do a whole lot pretty much at all last round. I'm glad to see the 6th pick going to Jaeger. I think Inrio's a lot more comfortable as a roamer than what we saw as an anchor, because once he started getting his legs moving, we saw a double kill going off at the very last second. But Razor, he's 3-7 right now. I'm sure he's a great fragger, but we haven't seen his roam game yet with the Vigil, but his attacking side was a little lackluster. So I think with him pulling his weight this round, we might see a 5-3. But it really depends on Inrio and Razor. And so it looks like we're starting the round right now. We see the Valkyrie cam and Generator. That's going to be a really interesting pick, especially with Trash remaining on the Monty. If he's going to go blue, it doesn't look like it, but I think they're going to be going... I'm sorry, if they're going dirt, but it doesn't seem like it. But Razor already taking down Faded. That's gigantic, taking down one of the 2 hard breachers needed. But it looks like him sitting in Stripper, going and rotating to central stairs. I don't know. They're thinking it's going to be Kitchen Hatch, but I think they're going to go blue and dirt. Already they're prepping dirt, but they do have Vivid sticking in dirt. Oh,
Razor.
Devel, beautiful work. That's going to be another one down. He is just going off, making me eat my own words, hunting each one down like prey. And there we go, the double kill, Crossfire, Inrio taking down Wolfie. It's a 2v5 situation. They have had enough. They want this win back, and that's A21 Mayo taking down Inrio as a bit of a response. That's gonna be the first one down in Abolition, a minute in, and already we see most of Wolves decimated. It's down to the Monty and to the Zofia pick to bring this home on one of the hardest to attack sites in all of Siege.
They also don't have the diffuser in their control. They're both inside the building, and diffuser's down outside of dirt after Devil died, thanks to a great pick by Razor. A great jumping up on the opportunity, just opening that window and felling the Maverick. And it looks like they're not going for the plant. I guess they're just going to try and push in for kills with just a Monty and a Zoph, but Trash is going to get crossfired upon by Guy and a Bear. The Valkyrie picks up that kill. It's a 1v4 for Mayo. He's got a minute 20, a minute 15 to do it, but I mean, it's still not looking good. He'll find Razor, who's trying to aggressively push onto him, looking for that kill. So 2 on the round for Mayo, but it will likely largely be impactless unless you can find these last 3 by some miracle, and Oblation just throw the round away as they're still peeking into Mayo, playing this rather aggressively. I don't know why I said aggressively. Vivid will take a lot of heat, is actually downed, but the Maestro will finally finish off Mayo. And Oblation will take another round back in their favor, but still 5 on the board for Wichita Wolves. They need 1 round to at least guarantee OT, and Oblation need to keep up this momentum. They need to keep up this aggression, and they need to hit their shots more consistently if they want to try and win this map.
They really do need to play more consistently, but we did see Razor, I think, really play in his most comfortable position. In Rio, they're going for the same aggressive picks again. I'm glad to see Vivid switching away from the Maestro into the Mute, and Guy on a Bear going to the Bandit pick for CCTV. I think this is the perfect defensive hold that they could do. Trash going to the Monty, juking them out a little bit. I don't know. They have to rush construction. Not rush, but they have to push construction this time, and that could be a huge chokehold,
Attackers
and
need to
maybe
locate
not the
and defuse
wisest
bombs.
idea with someone wielding Vigil like Razors. Oh, looks like they're saying that the spawn peaks are against the rules, so I don't know.
All reinforcements nearly done.
Oh, it looks like you have to go on Twitter for the spawn peak. Interesting. Okay, well, I can't wait to see that in my feed later tonight. Inrio setting up on Eastern Stairs. This could go either way. I'm really curious to see what the Valkyrie cams look like as well. But Trash with that Monty and Mayo were the last
10
ones
seconds
holding last round. If they can stay alive again, this might be an easier take than Church.
Yeah,
Objective is to locate a bomb.
again, Monty push Rafters. That's all you need. I mean, out of this lineup, who's holding Rafters? Like, maybe Inrio? That's probably the guy you're gonna have doing it, but he's not positioned up there. Razor is over by Strip Club, Inrio's master side. You got a Mute Jammer down on the wall, I assume, to at least, bait out.
Nobody's
Actually, there's no-
Rafters.
Yeah, nobody's Rafters. That's free control for the Monty. I don't know why I said bait out with a Mute Jammer, because there's no Thatcher, so it's not like they're burning an EMP. If the Maverick starts to destroy that, it's not like you're going to be free to Bandit Trick, which I don't really know why they brought a Bandit, because you can't Bandit Trick when there's a Maverick on the board. So,
Well, they
yeah,
could
I don't know.
They could for the Thermite, but the Maverick is still on board. So I'm
Yeah,
not-
I mean, all you gotta do is
yeah.
draw a line in the bottom, catch his feet, and then upside down repel as the Thermite, because you don't have a kite. You've only got Bandit. So it looks like it's gonna be Guy in a Bear to reposition himself in Rafters and hold on to it with the MPX, I guess. Yeah, or not Guy in a Bear, Bow and Arrow. So, I mean, he's got a C4, but again, he's up against a Monty who's gonna have support from operators like the Zofia. So, I mean, Bow and Arrow is not in an advantageous position, not an enviable one to be sure. The breach on the wall will also fall, so a lot of control now for Wichita Wolves, and if Bow and Arrow is not careful and gets scared off of this Monty, his bat could easily get caught by that player outside the breach.
Now I see what Razors is trying to do. He's trying to do a cross-map kill, but it's not going to work out. Mayo taking down Vivid and Inrio taking down Wolfie. It's a good refrag, but what you need to worry about is the Monty. And Razors and pretty much everyone on the defending team is looking out for those kills, taking down Devel. Huge one for Guy on a Bear. The curse has been finally lifted, but they need to worry about Rafters right now because they're pushing up. Razors taking down Faded, slowly whittling away that Monty. He's the last one alive. He's on B site right now, and the C4 is gonna take him down. I'll be honest with you, Crow. I was very concerned about this hold, but they turned it around immediately. Not really sure what the Monty was gonna try to do, but I think he did his best. He almost took down all of B site by himself, but
Yeah.
yikes all around for both teams. I would say. I'm glad that Oblation made a bad situation better. They turned it around. They figured it out. Razor with the run out that didn't quite work out the way he was hoping, but Guy on a Bear with a fantastic Maverick play. Had that not happened, I really think that could have gone in a different direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. My timer on the round was still at a minute 20 by the time you said that the round was over. So my clean feed currently is bugging the hell out, and I'm gonna blame Ant, just because Ant is an easy person to blame. But I don't know. That was. I don't know how that they threw that away. I mean, they essentially had free rafters control, and it was just a push into sight. You know, breach was sufficiently faulted by Oblation. So really good round to them. But again, it's gonna be Jim. It's gonna be Jim bedroom. Which is how Wolves were able to take this round. I don't know if Oblation will be able to do the same. They've got to keep up what they've been doing. I mean, the reason why Wichita Wolves were able to take this site is, for some reason, they didn't flush Wolfie out of Jim. And Wolfie got 2 kills through the barricade. I don't know why they didn't try to pressure him out.
Well, you gotta keep in mind the Monty was actually a 6th pick in from, I don't remember which operator, but they obviously weren't expecting a shield to push up, so they must have focused all of it on not only the roam game like we saw on Razors, Guy on a Bear, and Inrio, but we also saw, you know, a huge defensive game from the remaining, like Vivid and Bow and Arrow. Now, Bow and Arrow did eventually go into Rafters, but going into this game, it looks like they mostly learned their lesson. They're running the same operator loadout and the same positioning, but there's no Monty to be seen on Wolves. Instead, they are going for the Sledge, which I believe was the 6th pick going into the Monty. But it really depends on what Devel can do with this Maverick. They're opening a CCTV wall. That's going to be huge pressure going on construction.
You know what's really interesting too is this is a Gym bedroom defense with a bandit and no castle, which is what I assumed the Sledge was brought for, because you could just, you know, you just pound the castle with the sledgehammer and there you go, it's done and dusted. You've also got nades, but they actually haven't brought the castle, which is interesting to say the least. And speaking of nades, not going to be on the Sledge, going to be on the Maverick instead. Double picking off 1 and actually predicting that run out from Razor as well. A beautiful 2-piece to open things up. And yeah, I'm super far behind and I hate it here.
That's okay, I got you, buddy. But yeah, Razor did a very predictable run out and obviously got killed for it, but it looks like we're having a lot of pressure going into CCTV, and Guy on a Bear, Vivid, and Bow and Arrow need to dial it back and hold on to the site. There's a minute 30 left on the clock. It's 5v4. Oblation needs to play this very, very carefully if they want to have a chance to win this map. Bow and Arrow taking down Wolfie, but the refrag immediately coming out from Mayo, taking him down. It's a 4v2 situation. They have construction under lockdown, and logistics is really the only viable option that Guy on a Bear sees. Realizes, hey, this is a waste of my time. I need to take down logistics and construction, but that is already infested with Wichita Wolves. It's not looking great right now. We do see Mayo having a line of sight into Jim. Guy on a Bear is stuck inside logistics. We have 90 with Vivid. He's stuck there too. They're all stuck outside of the objective. No one can go inside or out. With 40 seconds left on the clock, Devel taking down Guy on a Bear. Double, no, not quite yet. We do have a bit of a swerve from Devel, making sure he doesn't get taken down by Vivid. Going for the plant instead. C4 not going to connect. And that's going to be Devel with the plant. 43 seconds left. Oblation better do something quick. Taking down Devel. That's going to be a 3v2 left. One's inside.
It'd be fantastic if I could see any of that.
Don't worry, you will in about a minute.
Yeah, Ant would like to accept my connect request. Refresh the parsec, that would be great.
Vivid right now still holding it on. He's looking for that chance to defuse, but no. Wichita Wolves trash. Finding the headshot, connecting it to Vivid, taking him down. Beautiful. And that is going to be 6-4 across for Wolves. They've really brought it back from map 1. Honestly, I wasn't too impressed about what we saw. I was very impressed with what we saw with Wolves. I was very unimpressed with what we saw game 1. But they really brought it back. They've warmed up. Clubhouse is a much more familiar and comfortable map for them. And here we are, match point for Wolves' favor. Going to church again, we do see a lot more of a constricted site with many more anchors for Oblation. We have the Maestro and Smoke now. Razor still sticking to the Vigil. I don't know. I'm so on that pick because we know Razor's a competent roamer, but he's made some very silly mistakes that have probably cost Oblation rounds. Guy on a Bear has remained with Valkyrie pretty much the entire time, and we haven't seen too much intel denial from what I've seen. It's mostly a surprise of when the enemy's there, so I'm not really sure where those cameras are. We don't get a clear look at them, but hopefully it gives some sort of intel because so far it's been lackluster. And overall, I think the major flaw that we see on the Oblation is that they are just playing way too aggressive for their own good, and it's getting shut down so quickly by what is seemingly obvious ways of playing around the site.
Yeah, the visual pick though from Razor was what netted them the early 2 picks on Church, felling both hard breachers and dropped Confuser outside, which that in and of itself won them the round. So if Razor can do the same thing he did last time, more power to him. Whatever. Keep picking visual, keep running over them on that top floor. And again, no Monty though. And Monty was what really let Wichita Wolves just walk into sight for free. After they killed that guy in blue, he just walked in, got the plant down, and the round was done and dusted there. So I'm interested to see how No Monty pans out. They brought the Jackal instead, maybe to hunt down Razor and make sure that he can't just run all over the attack like he did before.
We're seeing Razor play a lot more dialed back in garage this time instead of the immediate run out, but we do see a huge push into dirt. Razor's gonna be rotating right now, but wow, the spawn peek from Inrio taking down Wolfie. That is huge on the Buck. Actually, it's not as huge as I thought. There's not a lot of soft breach options. Had they taken down the Maverick, that would have been a lot bigger, but they are playing aggressive again, and I'm not sure why Maestro is off site. That is a terrible idea. We do have Vivid, I believe, remaining on site. Razor looking around for any intelligence to find out where Wichita Wolves is, but I don't know. He's completely away from where everyone is. We have one coming down blue right now, and we see Guy on the Bear hunting, fishing for that frag, and yikes, baited out very hard, faded, taking down Guy on a Bear. Bow and Arrow taking down Mayo, but the immediate refrag from Trash, I honestly think Oblation is just kind of throwing this away. It's a 2v3 now, so it's looking good for them. It's looking good. It's a 2v2 now, so it's not looking as good. But they're playing so unbelievably aggressive, bro. What is their deal?
I don't know. I guess they just want to try and take their ones and win it, and it's being, I don't know, it's so-so.
It has not
so
worked
far
for 8 rounds.
I mean, no, they won cash.
The times they did win were so close. It didn't need
And they
to
won
be
Church.
close.
Yeah, I mean, well, the church win that they got was pretty
It's true.
heavy-handedly in their favor.
Inrio with the double kill though. They're gonna keep going. It's a 1v1 now. Entering Arsenal. It's all down to this. They know exactly where he's at. He's not being quiet whatsoever. He's looking for the kill. He's looking for Inrio. Top frag on both games. Top fragger for Oblation, making his way up. Looking around. He's waiting for that plant. And there we go. Taking him down. Oblation not out of the game yet. Bringing it 6-5. It's getting closer and closer to that match point overtime. Oblation winning round 11 by a defuse. I believe that's the first defuse we've had in the last 2 games.
Yes, I think that's the first successful retake we've had in the entirety of these last 2 maps. So, well done by Inrio. He's better on his guns, which is, kind of his story. He just runs around and he kills people on a good day, which I don't think I've ever seen him actually have a bad day, as he's already on double digits. So, really well played to him so far.
Sticking with the same operator lineup as the last round, they're replaying CCTV again. We got to keep an eye on Trash, though. He might 6th pick into the Montana. What do you know? 6th pick into the Montana, but no Razor. Throwing us in for a loop, going for the Vera pick. Okay. I think this might be the first time I've seen Convera not in ranked. Probably ever. But
he's been in Pro League. Or she's been in Pro League.
Barely. Let's say 1% of the time.
I mean, you remember the play from Jonas though against EG, the 3K on the Cav on Bank. I remember Vertical too brought it out on I think it was on Cafe and got 3. So I mean, she appears every so often. It's just whether or not she's actually gonna
say so often. I'd say it's Blue Moon.
It's like once every 10 games.
I want to honestly say once every major. Maybe.
Yeah.
And the Convera,
We saw her at Invite, I think, like once or twice.
But is switching off the Vigil pick to the Caveira really worth it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he just wants to try and find someone by themselves, which I mean, there's been opportunities to find Wichita Wolves members kind of, you know, astray from the pack, but it's been pretty few and far between.
With that being said, though, she's playing on site. I'm sorry, Razor's playing on site. They're gonna be playing off site, kind of rotating around, which is good. But the way that Razor's getting kills is mostly just runouts, and there's not really a viable time to do an interrogation. With even then, the M12, which is more lackluster of a gun. I'm sorry, she's not running the M12. She's running the shotgun, which is even more lackluster in that scenario. But Devel going for cash wall again, having the fuser in hand. No immediate kills in place. I'm really curious to see if Trash can keep going on Garage. He's trying his best. No one seems to be able to contest Garage right now. With that being said, we're watching Razor rotate all the way around Garage. He's going to go hunt for that Monty. He wants that Monty's blood so bad. Trying not to give it away. Monty's definitely not alone. Or maybe they are. They are completely alone. Razor's going in for the kill. It's like Jaws all over again. It's a scary sight because we do have Mayo watching that front door. They don't know Caveira exists. They don't know Caveira exists. Monty's looking towards blue. They know someone's down there. Completely hidden. They've marked it out. They know. But wow, bow and arrow taking down Mayo. What a great refrag. Great coordination skills between Oblation. But yikes, what is the Monty gonna do now? He's all by himself. We do have bow and arrow sticking around stock room right now. I'm surprised managed to go through the wall of stock into like 3 different walls, taking down a 21 Mayo. Beautiful work. But we're gonna keep an eye on Razor again because I mean the Caveira plays once in a blue moon. We are not seeing a whole lot. There's 50 seconds left on the clock. Wichita Wolves not really pushing the site too much. Monty realizing, hey, this is a bad idea for Garage. Let's just push straight onto the site. We have it. And that's going to make the viability of Caveira go down quite a bit. Now, Inrio is still alive. Keep that in mind with the Jaeger pick. Even though he's 2 speed now, he is still a monster with his gun. And we're seeing them slowly push up. The C4 is ineffective. Smokes are out. Faded taking down bow and arrow. That's the first one on Oblation, down for the count. Never mind, Gotten Bear down. It's just a refrag. It is a massacre outside. But Razor getting that final kill. Oblation bringing it to overtime. Round 12 going to them. The shotgun did it. Wow. What happened? A match? What? No overtime? Whatever the case, not the worst from both teams. It's hard to say how I feel about it. I really think that Vigil pick would have been slightly better on Razors, but the Caveira pick did work, at least to some caliber. They weren't immediately killed. They brought it to a draw, and Wichita Wolves played extremely well in game